Good.
Hey, everybody. No worries. All right, so we're gonna have a little bit different workflow this time. So all questions should be asked via the chat function. So throw them into the Q&A, not the actual chat window. And then we have a number of folks who are panelists. So we've got myself, Zoe Castile, we've got the AFWERX, we got Joey Aurora in the room, we've got AFWERX Austin crew, and then Ryan Hellbach. As we have others, just let us know if you're on the SBIR team and we'll promote you to panelist. I will be reading out answers, but only from those that they have already written answers to. And this is just to make it a little bit cleaner and flow a little bit more smoothly. So without further ado, you can go ahead and start posting questions. And we'll get to answering them. If you'd like to see any recordings of these previous AMAs or any other documents that would be relevant, go to afwerx.af.mil and then navigate to SBIR. We're gonna post the link into the chat here in a moment.
And the other key thing is that the FAQ document is up on there. So please be sure to check out that FAQ document. And we also have the CITES site. So if you actually go to the topic, then in the top right when you log in is the CITES place where you can ask questions.
Awesome, thanks. And any of the SBIR folks that are on the line, if you want to post that into the chat, both the topic page and the AFWERX website, that would be awesome. And let's get started. So I'm going to start reading from answered. All right, so from John, as an open topic 18.3-005 phase 1 awardee, we did not submit for 19.1 phase 2. We have a committed Air Force customer interested in fund matching. Are we allowed to pursue the rapid 4-to-1 match for the 19.2-001 open topic phase 2, or is rapid specific to direct to phase 2? So you can pursue 4-to-1 matching. Yeah, so since you were part of 18.3, you wouldn't apply to 19.1-001 topic, you'd apply to the 19.2 open topic phase 2. So you're correct there. Okay, so for SBIR 19.2-001, how does the technical volume need to be structured? There are examples from the SBIR STTR web portal and from the Eastern Foundry winning submission. In general SBIR formats, they are all different. Given we have 5 pages, is the following acceptable? Then you listed a number of different elements. Do we need a statement of work was another question. So for phase 1, we recommend using the tech volume for areas that you need to provide more in-depth details and leverage the pitch deck for other areas. As you can see, there are many examples in no set format as to what is covered in the tech volume versus the pitch deck. So yeah, between the two, you're right, you can have different information between the 15 slides and the 5 pages for the phase 1. There will be some redundancies there. The pitch deck is meant to just convey the information in a different format that's a little bit more visually appealing and faster to read through. I'll also say that in the instructions, those are your main source document, right? So regardless of what templates you've seen from companies in the past, things are always changing. So read the instructions and follow the things that we ask for there. And just be a little bit cautious about using templates because they could be missing something or causing you to over-provide information that you don't need. Okay, does the statement of work count towards the 15-page Vol 2 limit? The answer is, let's see. Yeah, so it's included in the tech volume, which is the volume 2. And yes, it does count towards the limit. Okay, so my cage code is not finished processing, and I'm told that the cage office has a large backlog. I'm registered on SAM on May 30th, and all of the registrations were successful. Will I still be eligible for an award, presuming we get our cage code in July? So we'll be reviewing cage and SAM information after we receive all the proposals on July 2nd, right? So obviously we ask you to include a screenshot of if you have gotten that or not in your presentation, but July 2nd is the date that we're gonna begin reviewing that information and making sure that it matches up what is actually in the system.
And Steve, this is Ryan Hellbach here. Maybe I can join in on that one as well. So what we actually do is we'll go out to the SAM website, our contracting officers will, and they'll do a double check verification. So again, if it's not in there today, we don't actually start that process until after July 2nd when we get all the proposals.
Awesome. Helpful. All right, from Jenny. On the cover sheet, under proposal information, there is a prompt to list of maximum 8 keywords or phrases separated by commas that describe the project. What are examples or keywords that would be good to use. So things like immersive learning, data analytics, fire protection, communications, process improvement. You know, there's some element here of trying to bucket whatever industry you're in and use whatever the colloquial terms are that the industry uses, right? So I wouldn't think too hard on that piece. Try to make the most sense of it that you can, but we're not going to be hyper sticklers on what you put in that. All right, and again from let's see. Also from Jenny, on the cover sheet under proposal information, there is a prompt to list the page numbers that contain proprietary information. Is this referring specifically to the technical volume? Yeah, that's correct. So don't put any proprietary within the pitch deck. From Ray, we know we have to provide a 20-page technical volume. Do we have to provide a 15-page slide pitch deck as well in volume 5? So it's actually for phase 1 a 5-page technical volume. And yes, you do need a 15-page slide deck or 15-slide pitch deck. And again, just reference the instructions. So 19.2-001, it'll talk about what the requirements are. Okay, do the investor funds have to be from the specific outside investor that wrote the letter, or is it okay if that changes between letter time and wiring time, so when they send the funds, assuming the investor still meets the criteria? Yep, it's okay if the investor still meets those criteria. Okay, how many proposals are expected and how many awards are available? So we won't know the full details until July 1st at 8 p.m. once it closes out. For 19.1, we have 300 plus proposals for the open topic. And we awarded 102 contracts. So that's a historical data point for the last round. We are estimating a lot for this one. So yeah, numbers are going to be on a par or greater potentially for that. And also, you know, looking at the direct to phase 2, we're also getting lots of numbers already coming in for that. So there will be a lot. Okay, for STTR 19.b, I'm curious about whether there is restriction on the nationality of the team members not being a U.S. citizen. So there's no restriction on the nationality of the team members as long as the company is U.S. owned. Is U.S. owned, and 51% of the work is accomplished in the United States. And also for any of these questions, SBIR team, feel free to unmute yourself and jump in if you want to tack on to what has been written. Okay. From David, for one-to-one investor matching in direct to phase 2, can we put the full 1.5 million together from multiple investors, or does it have to be from a single investors? Yep, it can come from multiple. From Mike, the SBIR direct to phase 2 instruction PDF document on the AFWERX website shows the Air Force phase 2 submission date as July 31st, while at the DoD site, the Air Force direct to phase 2 file shows the Air Force Phase 2 submission as July 1, which is correct. So the submission deadline is July 1st. From Matt, as we understand, you can apply to SBIR Phase 2 6 weeks into Phase 1. From that application, how long to find out about the award? And follow up, how long to receive that funding? So the call for Phase 2 proposals will occur with instructions that are sent out from the contracting officer. Awards for phase 2s will be in October, November, or December timeframe, depending on the pitch day events or non-pitch day, right? So there's a 3-month period of dates that you might receive that phase 2 award, depending on if it is linked to a pitch day or not. Is there a preferred format for the slide decks and video? So yes, there's a preferred format for the slide deck. See the example at afworks.af.mil. And the video needs to be under 100 seconds. We actually aren't very strict on what content is in the video. Think of it as a Kickstarter video where you're trying to convey your value proposition, your potential customers both in and out of the DoD, and just to get us excited about it. We found that the videos are very shareable, and leadership likes to share those too. So see this as an opportunity where you can have something that continues to traverse the DoD even when you're not actively pushing it. All right. So from Kevin, I found the recordings of the past AMA webinars, but not the Q&A transcripts. Are these available somewhere? So yeah, they're on the frequently asked questions page of the AFWERX site. Can you put that one up there? Did you answer the frequently asked questions one?
Yes.
Okay.
Should be on the FAQ.
Yep.
All the questions from last week should be on the FAQ.
Okay.
And the week before as well.
Yep. So the FAQ page of the AFWERX site is where we'll find those. Perfect. Okay. From Will, we can expect to hear back around August 3rd, but when does the actual 90-day customer discovery start? It'll be shortly after that. So we'll give a date within a couple of weeks to start the 19.2 cohort. Yeah, so it's going to be fairly soon after. Historically, it's been about within a week of when those awards are made.
And Steve, if I can jump in, so companies that are selected will be notified of that exact start date from the contracting officer, and we'll provide that information with the awards notice.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good point. And we actually send the debriefs and your notification at the same time. So you'll get fairly rapid feedback on your proposals, whether you're selected or not. All right, for Mike, can we submit more than one topic for direct to phase 2? Can we submit SBIR and STTR for the same topic? So you'll only be awarded one topic for any open topic SBIR. You can submit to both SBIR and STTR, but you can only be paid once for the work. You must deconflict. This is on you. Feel free to submit both and then deconflict afterward. Yeah, the thing that you can't do is apply for both, and then if you're awarded both, take them both, essentially. So we're going to try to catch those types of things, but it is on you, whether or not you're defrauding the government or not. So yes, you can submit. Another response to that was STTR is geared towards you having an idea and SBIR towards having a product. Recommend not having an STTR approach being the same as your SBIR approach. So yeah, that's another really good point. I would assume that there's not all that many solutions that are out there that fit both the STTR and the SBIR intent, but it could be that you developed out a product that's affiliated with the university that is having some traction already, where it might fit into both buckets conceivably. Okay, so good question. Should phase 1 applicants submit the 100-second video? And no, you do not require 100-second video if you're applying to phase 1, only to direct to phase 2 or ultimately to phase 2 if you're already in a phase 1. From Tom, could you please comment on the evolution of the program? Does it go through a typical phase 1 to phase 2 to phase 3? Process, or are alternate mechanisms being envisioned? So yep, in addition to those pathways, we offer a direct to phase 2 option within 19.2 for those adaptations that are ready for trial. I also want to note here that the moment that you're awarded a phase 1, you are eligible for phase 3. So there's no reason you can't, as an example, we've had this happen a number of times. When you're phase 1, you've got a customer within the DoD who's like, I want to buy this thing now, but I recognize that it needs to get better over time. So go directly to a phase 3 to buy your product as is, and then do a phase 2 to modify it to make it better, right? So the order doesn't have to go 1, 2, 3. It could go 1, 3, 2, or some permutation thereof. And yes, we do have the direct to phase 2 option if you already have essentially accomplished all the things you would have done in phase 1 on your own, right? I do want to take a chance here to say direct to phase 2 is going to be very competitive, right? So 1, don't just apply to direct to phase 2. Consider applying to phase 1 as well in case you don't get selected for direct to phase 2. And also just realize that it is going to be really competitive. So if you're putting a ton of time into direct to phase 2 and you haven't fully scoped out your customer, you don't have an MOU that is strong, you don't feel that you have strong commercial traction, consider not wasting your time on applying to direct to phase 2. Okay. From N Singh, if a company has an active AFWERX phase 2, for example, 18.3005 phase 2, can they submit a proposal for the 19.2 phase 1 open topic, which is AF192001, or the 19.2 open topic direct to phase 2? So the answer is yes, you can apply to direct to phase 2. No, you cannot apply to phase 1, so 19.2001 phase 1. Is the proposal subject to FOIA? Any risk of our IP or images being released to the public? So your proposal will not be distributed outside the evaluation team. We'd like to share your slide deck, but we seek your approval prior to doing so. And so that's a really good question. I know we're very tight on keeping the information within the evaluation team only. All right, for direct to phase 2, and this is from David, can we put the full $375K amount together from multiple DoD customers, from different DoD agencies? Will matching funds be allocated incrementally from one to the full $375K? So yes, we will match all DoD funds up to $375K. You may receive more, but SBIR will only match said amount. And some other things to add on to that. If you do have a non-Air Force customer, that's great. If they're providing funds, there's no issue with that whatsoever. But we do require an Air Force customer as well, because this is Air Force SBIR. So we've seen a number of arrangements where a non-Air Force customer is paying. There's also an Air Force customer who says, I don't have any money, but this benefits my mission as well. And what that takes the form of is multiple MOUs. One from the non-Air Force customer with money, one from the Air Force customer without money. Just make sure that those milestones are mutually agreed upon and there's only one set, because we can't award you two, we're just awarding you one. And then the second piece of your question was, can we incrementally, is the match incremental from 1 to 375K? Yeah, so, for example, you don't need the full 375K to benefit from the match. If you only had 200K as an example, we could provide you 800K on top of that 200.
Hey, Steve, you got Ryan Hellbach here. Would you mind if I jumped in and gave you a break? So I wanted to follow up with a question that was asked last week with regards to matching funds and whether that counts towards the $3 million limit that we're able to put onto phase 2s. So that $3 million limit, at least that's the authority for the Air Force to be able to go up to, only applies to SBIR dollars. It does not apply to matching dollars. So if we have a matching from either a government or a private entity, that does not count towards that $3 million. It's only SBIR.
Awesome. Thank you for bringing that up. So we'd be really happy if you had a customer within the Air Force bring $100 million. We would give you up to $1.5 million on the phase 2. So, and then the $3 million ceiling only applies to SBIR. So thank you for bringing that up. All right, for Matt, are matching funds required for SBIR phase 2? The answer is no. And the same applies for direct to phase 2. So matching is not required. Just keep in mind, it is really competitive. Matching does reflect positively because it accounts for skin in the game, but it's not required. Do non-federal grants count as matching? Grants, not typically. So only funds directly involved with your SBIR adaptation will count. And I will encourage people too, as you have these fringe cases, encourage that DoD member or that government member to reach out to sbir@afworks.af.mil because we still can engage directly with them. We just can't engage directly with you at this point because we're open applications. Okay. From Matt, are there reasons you can identify that an organization would be denied a SBIR phase 2 if an MOU is signed, proof, and value is demonstrated in phase 1? So multiple reasons why that could occur. We evaluate the actual tech adaptation, commercial viability of the company, in addition to the Air Force stakeholder buy-in. So we're looking at the whole application, the whole company. That is one piece. I will say that in phase 2, we care a lot more about how well you understand your customer and how well you meet their needs than we did in phase 1, but it still is multiple criteria going into your overall evaluation. From Dan, in the sample user needs for special topics, the bottom 32 have no details. Will more data be forthcoming? Yes, we're still receiving additional need IDs. If you see one in line with your approach now, identify within your proposal and you will have additional opportunity should phase 1 contract be awarded. Joey, that might be referring to the additional fields that apply additional detail. Some of them just won't have it, right? So you can talk to it. Sorry. This one here.
So those 32 don't have details because it was a choice by the Air Force team to just submit need IDs that just have that much information. So we're testing out different ways to push out need IDs.
Right. Okay, from Scott, what are your historical submission versus award made in the direct to phase 2 proposals? This is actually the first time that we're doing it. So you will create the historical data this round. All right. We're applying for phase 1 with the open topic. In the materials, there's emphasis about commercial maturity with existing products. We are engaged with commercial customers, but more in piloting of component technologies of the solution. Is that okay, and can it still be considered for award? Yes, you'll still be considered. Note, you may be competing with others whose products are more mature. You can also consider STTR as an option. Yeah, so that is a really good question. We see a lot of types of proposals where sometimes they're banking on the maturity of some kind of open source or existing technology, but the actual proposal is for some new technology that's based on it in some way. Or as you surmise, sometimes it's, we've done a lot of work with the components, but we're assembling them into some new thing. So yeah, we do care about the maturity of the product that you are specifically selling to us. But in those cases where you don't have a super mature product that I just described, yeah, any way that you can buy down the risk and convey that you are capable of delivering, aka sales of the component parts, ability to assemble those component parts into new things effectively, previously on multiple occasions, things like that will help your case. So you're not disqualified by that. But the AFWERX Vegas point was really good. That yeah, there's a lot of folks who are going to be more mature. All right, from David, what if we have some dollars committed from a government customer and some from an investor for match? Can these be applied together, or do we have to choose whether we're moving forward with government dollars for matching versus investor dollars? They both can be applied for phase 2 or direct to phase 2. Note your maximum ceiling, regardless, is still only going to be 1.5 million for this award. So even if there are both government and private. All right, from Eric, for the direct to phase 2, there is a new phase 2 milestone template on the AFWERX website. Does this take the place of the required section 4 of the technical volume, or is it to be replicated and provided separately? Replicated and provided separately so we can do the contracting work a little bit faster. Yeah, that's absolutely right. This is actually a system-based thing that makes it easier for us to generate the contracts and easier to get you guys funded. So replicate them. Good question. All right. From David, for proposal competitiveness, is having investor matching more valuable than government customer matching? So investor matching signals commercial viability, and then government customer matching signals government customer need. They're both criteria for the application. I think it's a really good point. And no, directly answering your question, we aren't valuing private investor money over government investor money or government customer money.
They just speak to different parts of the application. So the government money speaks to the operational need portions, while the commercial money speaks to the commercial viability piece. So,
well said. All right, from Dan, when does VC match money need to be deposited into the vendor's account? The answer is within the first 90 days of the contract being awarded. From Mike, if our cost for phase 2 exceeds $750K, is there additional funding available? So not for the initial contract without matching. Further down the road, the phase 2s can grow in contract amount. And this is actually kind of following on from that discussion that Ryan Helbach had earlier, where he said, hey, does the $3 million ceiling apply for just the SBIR dollars or the SBIR plus the customer dollars combined? And he said, hey, it's just the SBIR dollars alone. What he was referring to is after you receive your initial award, which is up to $750K with no matching, which is up to $1.5 million with matching, you can increase it over the course of your phase 2, if needed, up to that total of $3 million. So there is a mechanism to receive additional funds, but it can't go greater than $3 million without some really high-level waivers, which in most 99% of occasions we probably will not do. Okay, from Eric. Is the required slideshow template you referred to in the pitch deck, and is this the same format for all phase submissions? So you can find the example slide deck at afwerx.af.mil/SBIR. Not the exact same info are in each phase. Yeah, so I mean, to your question of, is the slideshow template we talked about referencing the pitch deck? Yes, those are one and the same. The 15-slide pitch deck, the 15-slide slideshow, same thing that we're referring to there. Good question. And Joey, in about 5, I'll have to jump to that next one. All right, from Nolte. As per common mistakes question, what is the definition of a corporate entity within the context of this application? So please review the SBA DoD website for specific language of corporate entity. So there's an official definition that you can find on the website there. Logistical question, with all of this Q&A being available, will it be available on the website later? Yep, please check out the AFWERX.af.mil website, navigate to SBIR, and actually, some of the first links that you see down in the resources section will be the recordings of these AMAs. Also mentioned in the FAQ section of the site, you'll see the transcripts with our responses. For Brad, Air Force 192-005 Kessel Run Pitch Day. On Volume 6, who needs to be certified for the fraud, waste, and abuse training? So the training needs to be completed by one person from the proposing company. That's not just for the Kessel Run Pitch Day, that's for all of the open topics. Okay. If we have an active AFWERX Phase 2 and are applying for the 19.2 open topic direct to Phase 2, do we need to clarify that we have an active Phase 2? If so, where? So yes, please include that information in your technical volume and pitch deck to help the evaluators and PM teams. There's a section in the technical volume instructions where we're asking for the different things we want. I think one of them is, how does this relate? What are the related efforts or other government efforts? That would be a good place to do that, but just make it clear somewhere to us. Don't try to hide it. Okay. Can a company advance to Phase 3 while still executing a Phase 2? Yes, you can go to a Phase 3 at any time after you've been awarded your Phase 1. Okay, could you discuss how proof of commercialization success is weighted or considered? Is traction with defense primes considered commercial business? So we want to see commercial success to see that your business is growing. This de-risks the government's investments as the commercial world growth is helping to ensure company viability. Defense primes do not count as commercial businesses if the work is being done for defense-related work. But if you are working with a defense prime on commercial products, then that would count. Please be specific in your application. And also note that some of the defense primes actually have really big commercial businesses as well. So yeah, that differentiation of what is your product or service being applied to, what market matters. So good question. All right, so this one was for Ryan. So hi Ryan, that didn't quite answer my question regarding the cage code. If our cage code is still processing on July 2nd, when you review the cage and SAM information, will we be rejected outright? Or will it be sufficient to get a cage code before contracts are awarded? So Ryan's response, we will contact you if there is still an unknown from the review of the SAM website. We have had to reject companies in the past because their information was not in the system at the time of award. We encourage people that fall into this situation to apply again in September with our next call. From Danny. When is the Q&A from the prior AMA posted? Or actually, where is it posted? And someone just posted the link. It's www.afwerx.af.mil/faq.html. Well, who are the Phase 1 reviewers? Are they airmen, technical folks, academics, industry folks, AFWERX personnel? So it's a variety of government folks who have experience in all of the areas listed. So it's a combination. Ray, just to be clear, Phase 2 requires the 5-page technical response, a 15-page slide deck, and a 100-second video. So no, Phase 2 requires a 15-page technical volume. Phase 1 is only 5 pages. So everything else you're correct on. Phase 2 is the 15-page technical volume, the 15-slide pitch deck, the 100-second video.
And Steve, if I can jump in there real quick, strongly recommend, I've seen a couple questions come up, strongly recommend you go out and review via the DoD SBIR website, both the DoD instructions as well as the Air Force instructions. That will provide you all the information that you need with regards to how you should apply and what's the requirement for those applications. So again, leverage the DoD SBIR website and read through the defense, the DoD instructions and the Air Force instructions.
Yeah, thank you for that disclaimer, Ryan. Appreciate it. All right. And one other note there, you're going to go check the instructions, which is really important, but also the one-pager is a Phase 2 requirement that we ask for. And that's just essentially a one-page slick sheet that is easily shareable, but the instructions will cover what that includes. All right. And this will be the last one, then Joey, I'll hand off to you if that's cool. For the 19.2 open topic direct to phase 2, is there an outline to follow for the feasibility documentation? So no, there's not an outline for that. All right, folks, all really awesome questions. We've got another 30 minutes scheduled, and Joey's going to take the lead on answering those questions. I wish everyone a lot of luck. I got to jump, but I look forward to seeing your applications come through. Thanks. Over to you.
Yeah.
Can you show me which questions are on? I highlighted it. So this is the next one. Thank you. You got it, man.
Hey guys, it's Joey stepping in here. So question is, if a phase 1 contract was completed with another agency but not selected for phase 2, can this topic be proposed for an Air Force SBIR? The answer is yes. If a customer provides funding of less than $187,500 and AFWERX is applied to that, the total will be less than $750K. If her total cost of the proposed scope is $750K, you better not to include the customer funds. So in this case, the SBIR office would top up the funding to up to $750K if the matching is less than $187. So you can still get the up to $750K in this case. Is there a requirement that the MOUs contain a milestone deliverable schedule? Yes. It was Scott who asked, I was very confused with the instructions for Air Force Direct to Phase 2, 192001. There's a table that states that the requirements include a 15-page tech volume, 15-slide brief, and 100-second video. But below the table, there are only instructions for a 50-page tech volume with no mention of the brief and video. Can you please point me to the 50-page mention is a typo. The 15-page tech volume, slide brief, and 100-second video are required. Can you confirm that a phase 1 feasibility report is required to be submitted with a direct to phase 2 submission? Correct, you are required to do that. If we are bootstrapped and purposely not seeking VC investment, does that prejudice our evaluation because we're rated as not commercially viable as a company that's taken VC investment? So bootstrapping is having a viable business is showing commercial viability. We do not penalize you for choosing to not take venture funding. It's just another way of doing business to bootstrap it and to show if you have commercial traction, that is the best signal for commercial viability, is that you have sales and you're able to bootstrap and put that money back into your business. We're a 19.1 phase 1 awardee. Is 19.2-001 the correct phase 2 to apply for? No, that is not. You should be applying for the 19.1-001 phase 2. The 19 you're mentioning here is 19.2, and that's not the right one. Okay, so team, I have come to the end of the questions that have been answered so far. I'm gonna scroll through here, see if there's any that haven't been answered or spoken about, and we'll go from there.
Hey, Joey, this is Leaf.
Yeah.
Good day, everybody. This is Ryan Erickson out of AFWERX Austin. Question from Dan. May the technical proposal be 20 pages. I have seen 15 and 20 page counts. For everybody, you can if you submit more than the 15 pages in our requirement, we can only review the first 15 pages. So please do your best to consolidate to only 15 pages for the tech volume.
For the 19.2 open topic direct to phase 2, is there an outline to follow for the feasibility documentation? No, there's not an outline to follow for the feasibility documentation. We want you to showcase how you've determined that the Air Force customer needs this and why you determined that this would be feasible for a prototype. Would that be through prior work, engagements, however it might be, we want you to share that. Could you discuss how proof of commercialization success is weighted and or considered? Is traction with defense primes considered commercial business? So we want to see commercial success. We want to see that your business is growing. We want to de-risk the government's investment at the end of the day. So showing that you have commercial traction and engagement means that your company is going to continue growing and learning and becoming a better business. And in that case, for defense primes, generally defense primes do not count if you're doing the work towards military work. If you're working with a defense prime on commercial products inside their portfolio of a company, then that work does count. So please be specific about that in your application. Can a company advance to phase 3 while still executing a phase 2? Correct. A company can go to phase 3 anytime after the award of a phase 1 or 2. Correct to phase 2. Also, per a common mistakes question, what is the definition of a corporate entity within the context of this application? Recommend that you review the Small Business Administration / DoD websites for specific language of a corporate entity as well. If our cost for phase 2 exceeds $750K, is there additional funding available? So not for the initial contract without matching. If you can bring matching to the table, the SBIR office will award up to $1.5 million of matching. And then further down the road, in this case, if you discover you need more after the $750K, the phase 2s can grow up to $3 million in contract size. When does VC match money need to be deposited into the vendor's account? It needs to be deposited within the first 90 days of the contract. For a topic, we know of an Air Force customer who has used your earlier technology. You're still planning on submitting a proposal for the enhanced technology. We still don't have a letter or MOU from the Air Force customer yet. Can you submit your proposal without the MOU? Yes, you can submit your proposal without the MOU, but you be aware you'll be competing with folks that may have very likely submitted an MOU as well. And that is what shows operator need and engagement for the phase 2. And you cannot submit the MOU after the application closes if you get an MOU in 3 weeks. In that case, please look at a later SBIR award date and timeline. For the technical data rights assertion document, how specific do we need to get and how long should the document be? So in this case, please convey the details that you think are needed to capture your assertions, and we'll contact you if we need to. For the 19.2 Directive Phase 2, what are the evaluation criteria? Is it more in line with AFWERX criteria or traditional SBIR criteria? All criteria are tied to the DoD broad area announcement. That's why it's important to read the DoD broad area announcement and Air Force instructions, i.e. technical, commercialization, and team. There are not different criteria for AFWERX. And how long?
Hey, Joe, you got Ryan Hellbach here. You mind if I jump in real quick?
Yep, go ahead, man.
So just so that there is not any confusion, the criteria for a phase 1 SBIR or STTR is prioritized from technical, team, and then commercialization. However, with the direct to phase 2, it is prioritized with technical, then commercialization, then team. And so there's a slight difference there if you're applying to a direct to phase 2. So I want to make sure folks are aware of that. And again, please read the DoD and Air Force instructions.
Thank you. For SCTR 19B special topics, is there an outline you recommend for the 5-page tech volume and 15-page slide deck? Should we spend more time emphasizing the commercial viability case or talk more about the tech or how it's useful to the Air Force? The technical volume and slide deck will be reviewed holistically, and there's no set format requirements for the two documents. It is recommended but not required that more detailed information is included in the tech volume and higher level information is included with the pitch deck. And hey, members of the team answering questions, because we're answering questions at different parts of the time series here, I can't tell which questions have been read out or not. So if you have one that you know you've answered but hasn't been read out and want to speak about it, please feel free to. We'll get about, historically, it's been about a third of the applications that come through for the SBIR open topic are awarded. It's about a 33% selection rate.
And Joey, I will just add to that a little bit. It is based on availability of funding and the the quality of the proposals when we make those decisions. So if you look across the different spectrums, it can range quite a bit. So again, it's based on quality of proposals and funding availability.
Absolutely.
Joey Leaf here had a question on milestones. Anonymous asked, if you have multiple Air Force customers, do you build a single set of milestones or separate ones for each of them? The correct answer is what we call consolidated MOU. What we're looking for is one set of milestones that may or may not affect or benefit other Air Force or DoD stakeholders. So essentially what you need to identify is in the MOU, all the units that are involved, and then one set of milestones. The reason for that is you can't have multiple adaptations within your phase 2. It's got to be one adaptation process.
Awesome. Thank you, Leaf. Are company proposals evaluated for direct to phase 2 awards if a concept is deemed to merit as such, or must the company request specifically for such evaluation, default phase 1 evaluation only? Companies need to submit specifically to the phase 2 topic 192D001 for phase 2 consideration. So if you want to submit a direct to phase 2, you need to apply for that specifically. We do not move applications around. In the past, you would ask as soon as an Air Force customer has an MOU, you would like to talk to them directly even before submitting. Is that still the case? Our customer is about to have their commander sign. Would you like them to contact you to look at the MOU first? We would like to contact every unit, but it is difficult to scale in this case. We recommend conveying that we will conduct military to military conversations with their commander during the evaluation process. Any concerns can be addressed then. We also have a weekly call on Fridays for the government POCs that they can jump in and connect with us on. So you're welcome to introduce that customer to us. We'll send them the information for that Friday call, and they can get any other questions answered there as well. For directive phase 2, if we get $1.5 million committed from investors and thus receive the entire $1.5 million in phase 2 matching, to our proposed milestones in the tech volume and budget have to reflect the entire $3 million. Investor plus SBIR, only the $1.5 million from SBIR. The answer is the total amount of $3 million. And this is specific to the government milestones as well. So Steve, I want to double check this one. So I believe that if they're getting investor matching external to the Air Force, they don't need to put in information about how they're spending that money.
Correct.
So in this case, because you're getting investor money from the outside, if this is a commercial investor, then you do not need to account for how you're spending that money. If in the case you're talking a government investor, then you do need to mention how you're planning on spending that money. It needs to be accounted for in the milestones. So private investment does not need to be in your milestones. Government matching does. For the 19.2 open topic directive phase 2, do you need a 100-second video and pitch deck? Correct. If you have an active AFWERX phase 2 and are applying for a 19.2 open topic directive phase 2, do you need to clarify that we have the active phase 2? If so, where? Please include that information in your technical volume / pitch deck to help the evaluation PM teams. Will the Q&A of this be available on the website later? Yes, it'll be at the afwerx.af.mil/faq.html. I can't tell which ones you had or had not. I was just picking ones that you had not, or that had not been read, closing them out. Because people are answering them at different times, so they're popping in.
Scroll down.
Yeah, because I scrolled to the bottom already, but because we're answering them at different time blocks, they're getting put back in places.
Joey, if I can jump in, would it be helpful if we just started answering from the bottom and working our way back up?
Okay, sounds good, man. I have 2 questions at the bottom, so.
Yep.
If you guys want to answer questions from the bottom, that would be most helpful as well. So do we include pitch day expenses as a budget item on the 19.2001 application? No, you do not. For calculations regarding the requirement that 50% of proposed work could be completed in the USA, should be completed in the USA, is that based on the number of hours worked, salaries, or some other method? More than 50% of the billable work must be accomplished in the United States. That is based on however you choose to measure it, whether it be hours or salaries, etc. AFWERX team, I've run out of questions at the bottom, so if you guys want to answer questions at the bottom, that would be helpful. Otherwise, I'm just searching through the top trying to find questions that haven't been answered. I apologize if I'm repeating some things. I was trying to memorize all of the things that have been said and double check that as well.
So I think just to make it easier. So it's got a time in there. I left at 3:30, right? So everything that's later than 3:30 should be good, or after you finished up. And the new one's at the bottom.
Yeah, there's nothing else that we've answered yet.
Oh. Let's answer some questions.
Could you elaborate more on the technical data rights document? So please capture an assertions for data rights with the details enough for us to make a determination. We're going to contact you if we have any questions or clarifications. So in the technical data rights document, please describe which data rights you are asserting and saying these are ours. And if it's unclear, we need to ask more questions or deliberate, we'll feel free to reach out to you. In picking a topic to submit to, we might be able to aid in a specific topic indirectly with our solution. Should we apply to that specific topic or should we apply to the open call? Apply to the most relevant. You can always apply to multiple topics. Again, if you apply to multiple topics and you get awarded multiple topics, you will have to then make a determination on which one to take. For 19.2 D001, if you have secured around $100,000 from an Air Force customer, can the statement of work be in addition to $750,000 plus $400K in matching funds? You can either apply to the normal $750K or rapid. It is up to you for how you make that decision. But in this case, you specifically ask, is it $750,000 plus that $400,000 of matching? No. So we are only matching above $750K if the match amount goes over. So in this case, it's $100,000 funding. It's matched 4-to-1. So that is $400,000 in matching plus that $100,000 for a total of $500,000. Since that is less than the $750,000, that is going to get matched up to 750,000. It will not get matched beyond that. You only get matching above 750,000. For example, if an Air Force customer was providing $200,000 in matching, then that would be $800,000 of SBIR match funding plus the $200,000 from the customer for a total of $1 million. So it has to be over $187,500 of matching for us to do matching a contract above $750,000. Can you please speak to how frequently phase one proposals that include a budget for tooling receive funding? We review all proposals from a technical, team, and commercialization perspective.
And Joey, if I can add to that, so at least in this format, we're not going to answer any types of questions such as that. Again, we'll look at each proposal as it comes in and evaluate it from that those criteria.
Is there a template for the 5-page format technical discussion? Are you required to follow the 15-slide deck template, or can you deviate if needed, possibly shortening the deck? It is up to the company on how they put together their proposals. Examples are provided on the AFWERX.SBIR site. Should the 100-second video be a link in the proposal? I don't see a place to upload video. So the video should be on a separate page. Add in the link, and it does not count against your pitch deck limit. Here are the team furiously typing to try to get your questions answered. Which volume does the milestone template go into? Reference the MOU in volume 2 and attach it in volume 5 supplemental information. For 19-200-T001, if we have secured around 100K from an Air Force customer, can the SAL be an addition? Yep, that's already been answered and discussed. Is the MOU included in volume 5 or in the technical volume 2? It is included in volume 5. What government code should we include in the application? Please include information from your SAM registration, including DUNS/CAGE information. Please make sure to use your address and contact business information that is correct in SAMs. Is there a desired place to identify this as a rapid application? Sorry, guys, stand by, pulling up the question again. Is there a desired place to identify this as a rapid application? Please include it in your title and make it abundantly clear throughout the application that it is rapid. Not required, but including in your header or footer is helpful.
Just real quick for everybody's awareness, we have 71 open questions right now. So if we have not answered your question yet, that's because we are furiously working away to try and answer those. So please be patient with us as we go through this. Joey, I think, again, we'll close it down here at 4 o'clock, and any questions that come in after 4 o'clock, we will not be answering.
Okay. And so please take the next couple minutes that if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A, and we'll be closing that. We won't be answering any questions that come in after 4 o'clock. For those questions that are unanswered, we'll be taking them back to the team, answering them, and they'll be posted on the FAQ page next week. What would be the best appropriate way to propose if we've completed a phase 1 contract but we're not selected for a phase 2 by another agency? As a phase 2, phase 1, or direct to phase 2. So you can't be paid again for the same work. If it was an open topic, phase 1, apply for direct to phase 2. If it's a sufficiently different product, on you to decide, consider applying for the phase 1. We're looking to get one-to-one private investment after the submission of our direct to phase 2 proposal to get funding above the base 750K. What is the time frame and process for applying for the enhancement of funds after an award? It's 90 days after an award, but in this case, if you're submitting your directive phase 2 proposal without the information about the matching in there, you can't ask for the the match based off of that investment after the initial applications have closed. Cannot find the answers to the previous AMAs. I see the posted videos, but not the written Q&A. Again, this is available at www.afwerks.af.mil/faq.html. You got to scroll down a little bit on the page and you'll see all the SBIR questions. We have over 200 of them posted on there. Is there a page limit on this? Yes, phase 1 and phase 2 have page limits. Please refer to the specific instructions. Phase 1 is 5 pages, phase 2 is 15 pages, and there's more to be specific. Please check the application instructions. We have a SBIR 1, phase 1 through an Air Force pitch day in March 2019, not through AFWERX. If we're awarded a phase 2 on that SBIR this fall, will we be disqualified from applying for an AFWERX phase 2 in the future? No, that applies to the open topic phase 1s and 2s. For an early startup company with a promising new technology, is there any real chance of a phase 1 under the 19.2 special topic with having only one team member at this time and no previous commercialization proposal submission/award history? If given how small the team size is the proposal would be basically rejected outright, rather not waste the time on writing the submission. I do intend to hire 2 more individuals once the contract award is received. Thanks. The answer is yes, absolutely. The risks of commercialization need to be addressed in your proposal, meaning without commercial traction, what is your plan roadmap for bringing your product to scale? Our whole goal is to work with companies to help foster the new promising tech. And whether you consider applying for STTR or SBIR, you have to make that determination on what would be best for you based on where your company is at. But our goal is to help continue growing the technology base for the DoD. We're awarded 18.3005 open topic phase 1. Are we able to apply for the 19.2001 open topic phase 2? That has increased the cap to 1.5 million. You may apply, yes. For the direct to phase 2 proposal, there are no instructions on the 100-second video, etc. Should we follow the standard general format then? You have some creative freedom on the video, convey your value proposition, get us excited, convey to your customers the same thing. And think about this like a Kickstarter video. What gets your customers excited? What shares your value proposition product? Tell me about what I need to know so that I'm willing to get bought into the idea, product, or service. Phase 1 open example slide deck. The math on pages 10 and 11 doesn't add up. The yellow arrow on page 11 says G&A expenses roll into one pool, but they need to be listed above in the cost volume rates. So in this case, please use the DoD submission process to capture your cost volume. We apologize for that mistake. Do you have to itemize the budget for 19B STTR open topics phase 1? The cost volume in the DoD submission process will require you to include your broken out budget. Any further guidance on last week's question, whether we should submit our 19.1 phase 2 proposal as a 19.2 directive phase 2, or will AFWERX automatically vector the 19.1 phase 2 proposal for 19.2 directive phase 2 if it gets selected? You can also apply to the direct to phase 2 if you've been already awarded an AFWERX SBIR. I'm going to read this because it's a very nice comment. Thank you. You're all an impressive Air Force team. And Ryan said, this is a team effort for sure. We look forward to working with America's innovative companies. Thank you to both of you.
That was me, Joey.
That's good. With a funding round, convertible note, or raise, we have a group of parameters that all investors agree to. Since all investors agree to the same terms, can affiliates participate as minor participants, e.g. 100K of a 500K round? So we can still apply to 500K SBIR matching. Yes, convertible notes must have a provision for auto conversion over time to apply. Otherwise, it looks like us too much like debt to apply for matching.
Hey, real quick, guys. So it is 1600 Eastern, so no more questions after now will be answered. But we do have 75 open questions, so we're going to keep trucking through. And then for all the SBIR folks, don't answer any of the questions after 4 o'clock, just so we can get through these.
Steve, maybe a clarification. Are we cutting off at exactly 4 o'clock or 4:01?
Ryan, you're a nice guy. Let's do 4:01.
I love it. Good.
And for these questions that we may not be able to get through since we have 73 open ones and they're sort of coming through, going to be at different time blocks, we'll be posting these on the FAQ page. I'm going to go through the older ones and just try to find answers that were given after 3:30. Can you please elaborate if an Air Force customer is a customer that has already paid or intends to pay for the product of the phase 1 proposal? Potentially intends to pay for the final product. They're not required to fund the phase 1 proposal. An Air Force customer is somebody who, at the end of the day, is using the product or service. And then there's also the customer that is going to be purchasing that product or service. So there's 2 parts of it. You have your user and the customer that's going to pay for it as well. Air Force 192-005 Kessel Run Pitch Day. Are there any open source mandates? Please submit your question to the 192-005 CITES Q&A portal on the DoD site. This form is for the 192-001 topic.
And Joey, if I could jump in on that, so that CITES portal, that CITES Q&A portal on the DoD website, that will only be open, I believe, through the remainder of today. I think it closes after today. So.
Yep. If you guys have any questions that you haven't gotten answered or you've not been able to submit, please submit them today. Is there a template for the 5-page format technical discussion? Are we required to follow the 15-slide template? Can we deviate if needed, possibly shortening the deck? So check it out on the AFWERX site. The link is included there. And you can deviate if necessary, but it's up to you as the company to make that decision. Can the U.S. government customer bring match funding to the project, be non-DoD, such as the Department of Justice or other? Yes, as long as there is also an Air Force customer, matching or otherwise. Is submission of a final report from a separate SBIR phase 1 sufficient feasibility documentation? It is up to the proposer to convey the feasibility of the technology in the manner that they see most fit. For 19.1 direct to phase 2, if we have multiple MOUs and multiple U.S. government funders for rapid match, do we need to package all of those users under one masthead, e.g. a single POC managing and or signing off on the task order milestones? That is, each MOU could be a subset and listed on TOs / milestones, and all MOUs wrapped into a single PDF. And how do our funders designate their funds if they're going to our phase 3 vehicle? How long will they have to send in their funds if we are selected? You may have multiple MOU stakeholders, but there should only be one set of milestones. Please include any phase 3 information in the proposal and have them connect with AFWERX for funding transfer or any questions about that funding transfer. A lead POC from the DoD that has general situational awareness on the entire approach is also is helpful. So yes, a single technical point of contact.
Joey, here, I clicked the wrong button. Instead of type answer, I hit answer live on one. Does the cost volume of key personnel and letters of support count towards the 15-page of the pitch deck or the 5-page of technical volume? The letters of support don't count, and the cost of volume within your of the key personnel will be included in the tech volume.
All right, thank you. And for SCTR 19.1, we're applying for open topics. We're wondering what you're looking for in the tech volume versus the pitch deck. Instruction has details about those special topics. Would this be a good guideline for applications addressing non-special topics? It is up to the proposer how they convey the required information. Focus on 3 pillars for the pitch deck. It's things we care about are the criteria of technical, commercialization, and team.
Hey Joey, maybe if I can answer one live and then type in the answer because it's going to be a little more extensive. So the question is, can the SBIR required proportion of the work be completed by the SBC and it assigns a 1099 to support, or do those proportions of work correspond directly to an SBC? So the requirement is that the SBC completes for a phase 1 2/3 of the work, or one half for a phase 2. And that the principal investigator be at least 50% employed by the company. So how you complete that work is then at your discretion, as long as you're meeting those requirements.
Okay, thank you, Ryan. I'm looking for answers that were submitted after 3:36. So if I find answers that are submitted after 3:36, I'll continue reading those out. On the direct to phase 2 contracts awarded, was there a percentage of rapid versus non-rapid contracts awarded? And in the last round, which is only one data point, we saw the rapid award rates were above 90%, and then the non-rapid were less than that. Again, it is all dependent on the amount of money that we have available and the quality of the proposal. For open topic phase 1, do all of the subsections under 5.4 of the DoD SBIR BA 19.2, section 0619 have to be addressed in the 5-page tech volume. You may use the 5-page tech volume and the 15-page slide deck to convey the whole information. We evaluate both in whole. We have submitted our program pitch to America's Seed Fund powered by NSF, the NSF Small Business SBIR and STTR program. We came in late. Is it still correct that without a prior pitch, one should not submit a proposal? You may submit to the DoD, as this is a separate solicitation for proposals. Do the 100-second video pitch deck along with OSHA and other documentation all go into one PDF. Please follow the DoD submission process, which will ask for different attachment volumes and online questions.
And Joey, maybe if I can provide some further detail on that. So what happens is if you go out to the DoD website, there'll be a step-by-step process for your submission. It'll ask you to include attachments or answer questions at each step of the process. And so that basically gets pulled together into your full proposal package.
Okay. Thank you, Ryan. In the SBIR required proportion of work, 2/3 for phase 1, half for phase 2 be completed by the SBC and its assigns 1099 independent contract support, where the proportions of work correspond directly to a SBC, whereas those completing tasks on contract are the SBC's W-2 employees only. The work can be completed with 1099 support. However, the PI needs to be at least 51% employed by the company. Since starting our phase 1 proposal, we received private investment. Can the dollars be matched during after award one-to-one match enhancement? Only if the funds are for your adaptation, phase 2, not for the company in general. Do we need to include all the following documents under the drop-down supporting documents for phase 1? Letters of support, additional cost information, funding, agreement certification, technical data rights, life cycle certification, allocation of rights. It is up to you what is included. Please make sure you submit your pitch deck. For phase 1, you will likely not need all the attachments called out in the above question. I do not see that the instruction required a one-pager for direct to phase 2. Maybe I missed it. That is an error on our part. Please include it, but if it is not included, you will not be penalized. How would you like the 100-second video and one-pager included in the phase 2 application? Should it be included in a single PDF in the tech volume or as an additional document? Additional document uploaded to volume 5. The video should be uploaded to YouTube or Vimeo, and you should include the link in your TV pitch deck and one-pager. A TV, I mean technical volume. Habit of so many years to read the TV as a TV, not technical volume.
I know, right?
For direct to phase 2 with multiple MOUs and multiple match funders, how do package those in the submission? All in one single PDF, single POC, who stores the task order subsets. Does each MOU separately address the funding each will bring? You need one set of milestones. Ideally, all the stakeholders identified on one MOU as well. To clarify, does the direct to phase 2 submission require a 100-second video and pitch deck? Yes. What goes into the phase 1 feasibility report submitted with a direct to phase 2 submission? Who you talk to, how you reach stakeholders, basically how you got to where you are today. Has the phase 2 deadline been extended from June 14th to July 1st for 19.2? Yes.
So for 19.2, phase 1 is going to phase 2. Theirs was June 13th, so theirs was still due then.
Correct. So
Okay.
yeah. So this question is specifically for the 19.2 phase 2. Yes.
Direct to phase 2. Okay.
Direct to phase 2. Yeah.
Yep,
It's not
thank
for 19.1. Deadline was June 13th. Again, the 50-page limit is a typo. Please disregard that. What would be the best appropriate way to propose if you completed a phase 1 contract, but you weren't selected by another phase 2 agency? It's a direct to phase 2. You can submit a phase 1 if it is significantly different effort. In 18.3005, the schedule is really just a copy of the milestone chart from the MOU per the instructions. Now you have the separate template, and the example schedule based on the milestone chart has been removed from the instruction. Are there any expectations on the schedule at this point? The first milestone should be verbatim what is shown in the template MOU, AFWERX@af.mil. This is to allow us to pay you the set percentage at 2 weeks into the program. All others are up to you and your Air Force DoD customer. We want to align these as closely as possible, but will ultimately be awarded in phase 2. Should the 100-second video be a link in the proposal? Separate page with link, it doesn't count against page limit. I mean, I'm finding a lot of the questions are ones that have been answered or repeated.
Yeah.
I
So,
think
Mhm.
Ryan and team, I think at this point we should call it. And
So tell you what, let's just do a quick scan of the current outstanding. Let me do that, and then we can call it. So give me 1 second here.
okay. The technical volume have to cover all sections in the DoD technical volume overview, page 25 on instructions, if applicable. What government should include in the application? You should include a SAM's page screenshot, gauge code, and all that jazz.
yeah, so the one pager, scanning through the direct to phase 2 instructions, we actually don't reference that in there. So we had that as a phase 2 proposal requirement for past normal phase 2s off of a phase 1. So yeah, good catch, scanning through the instructions. It does not mention the one pager. So really it's just the 15 pages for the technical volume, the 15 slides for the pitch deck, and then the 100-second video. Good question, good catch.
Maybe if I can address a question about data rights. So there's a data rights document. Please provide the information that you think you need to in order to convey your assertions for data rights. So we review those and we with the contracting officers and make a decision as to your assertions of data rights. If we have questions, we'll contact you. But again, I would lean towards providing enough details that we can make a decision towards your assertions.
Another big thing that I see asked is, well, having one person detract from your proposal. We just want to see that you can do the work, whether you're one person or 499 people. We want to see that you can accomplish the work that's being done and proposed. Ryan, let me know when you're good to go. I'll just keep reading stuff off until then. Few story problems of matching would be ideal if possible for a range of outcomes. So we'll be working on those in the future. Thanks for the comment. Just so as you guys know, we're building this one step at a time. We started tackling revamping the SBIR process about a year ago. This is the 4th time through. We're constantly improving things, making things better. We've brought in matching. We've brought in updated MOU templates. We've been able to provide templates for some things, and we're continually working on getting the best practices and highlights and templates of these things out and improving our process. So we appreciate the questions that are coming in. We've seen a lot of questions about the typo. The typo will be fixed in the next round. This is also helping us improve our process. We wanted to get something out here to make it easier for companies to work with the U.S. government and the Air Force. So thank you for taking the time and effort to engage with us to make that happen. We really appreciate you making this time and effort to go through the application process and engage with the DoD.
Joey, if I can maybe answer a question that was asked here. A company participated in the CSO pitch day at MacDill Air Force Base, they're planning to, that'll be coming up in August. And if they receive an award from SBIR, they would not be able to have inherently similar work. So you can put in your submissions to either that pitch day or the SBIR, but you cannot have inherently similar work. So if you were awarded the SBIR or if you're awarded from the pitch day, you would have to select between one of those contracts in order to do if it was inherently similar work. Otherwise, I think most of the questions have been answered. Again, if there is a specific question that was not answered, please submit it to the CITUS on the DoD portal. That if you feel like we did not answer your question through the 169 answers that we've provided, please submit it to the CITUS and we will work to respond to that over the weekend and next week. So, Steve, I think at least from my aspect, again, I want to echo Joey. Thank you all so much for asking all your questions and working through with us as we work to improve this and make this an even better program. So I'll let you say final words, Steve. Steve, I think you're muted.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
So we do want to know what sucks about this process. So whether it's like things on the website are confusing, the instructions, we recognize this is always evolving. Just send us an email to sibir@afworks.af.mil if something is systemically inherently not clear, and we'll try to fix it for the next round. Again, thanks everybody. Good luck. Things are going to start moving quick for us, so get those questions in right now if we're unable to answer them on Citus. So thanks, guys. Bye.
See ya.